Hello folks, I'm back out here at Dad's shop today. I'm going to do a video today on a couple of our Coleman 243 lanterns that we've got out here. This one was my dad's, and then last year on my birthday he gave that one to me for my birthday, and then promptly turned around and another one showed up here at the shop and he bought that, so now we've got a couple of them. I'm going to do a video on these. They're both 243s, but this one must have been right at the transition between a 243 and a 243A. I believe 243 was 1936 and 243A was 1937. And typically the 243s have the style of pump and check valve that's in this one, what they call the European style. And the one that Dad gave to me has a regular Coleman style pump and check valve. I'm going to go ahead and pump mine up, get it lit, and then we'll set it off to the side, and we're going to replace the check valve in Dad's lantern, and we can get it lit up too. We've had it lit before, but the check valve doesn't work very well and it leaks bias, so we're going to light mine up first, then we'll replace the check valve on his, and we'll light his up too. Yeah, Dad's looking for the lighter. I had it. I picked it up just a minute ago. Here it is. I picked it up and moved it to where it was out of reach. These have a tip cleaner lever on them, just like the more modern ones do. You can turn that a couple times. This lighter actually does fit up through the hole. I'm guessing when I open this valve and start this, it's probably going to flare up. This has always been a kind of a cold-blooded lantern. So I'll just open it up, crack the fuel a couple times until it starts to heat up. I just keep cracking the fuel open, then closing it again until it finally starts to heat up and burn nice. There we go. Neither one of these have the correct lens in it, or globe in it, according to what I've been told and seen online. But they... Okay, I'm going to take the pump assembly out of this. There's two screws on there, one on the top, one on the bottom. I'm going to move it to the edge of the table so I can get at the bottom one easily, and then the top one's kind of a pain to get to because the glass and the bottom of the burner assembly is in the way. If I wanted to take that all off, it's easy to take off, but I don't want to pull all that apart right now, so just get the screwdriver in here at an angle and get it loosened up until I can thread it out with my fingers. Fortunately, it's not too tight. We've had it apart before. We worked on the check valve and we just couldn't get the old check valve to hold, and somebody online told me that you can use the check valve for a modern North Star lantern to replace this. You just might have to grind it down just a little bit to make it fit in there. So I bought one of those off of oldcolemanparts.com, and we're going to try it out and see if it works. I'm guessing it will. It looks just like the one that was in here. Now I'm going to have to see if, I know we've had this out before. You can't use the modern check valve tools on these, but I'm guessing since we've had this out before, it's probably not too tight. And when I put the new one back in, I won't torque it down super tight either. That way if we ever have to get it back out, we probably can. Now let's see if there's a little bit of fuel in there that's leaked by the check valve, so I'm going to get this towel here and I'll try to pour the fuel and the check valve out of there. Kind of stuck in there. There we go. There's the old check valve. I've been told that to get them to work and to fit everything in there, you might have to grind down the top of that a little bit, and I can see that the new one is significantly taller. But I'm going to put it in there first, just gently put it in there, put the pump back in and see if it hits, and if it does, then I'll pull it back out and we'll go to the bench grinder and take a little bit off of it. Okay, we'll drop this new check valve down in there and then see if I can... Oh, well, I couldn't do that again if I tried. I dropped it and it went directly into the hole at the bottom of the tube.
So you're good.
I figured I'd have to get the screwdriver in there and fish it around for 10 minutes trying to get it to line up with the hole. But... well, I'll surely have to grind it down now. Since I did that, I'll have to take it back out and start over, and then won't be able to get it in the next time probably. Slide the pump back in there. We'll see if the pump will go in all the way. And it won't quite go in far enough because this is the European style, doesn't have the stem that goes down the middle and tightens up to like a needle valve to close off so that it can't leak the fuel out. So it has what they call bayonet style fitting on it. So you've got, I don't know if you can see that or not, you've got this little pins on there. They go inside of there and then it turns a quarter turn to hold the stem in, and it won't quite go in there. It's lined right up. So I am going to have to grind that down a little bit. So we'll pop it back out of there, take it over to the bench grinder and try to take just enough off of there to get so that this will go all the way in there and turn, but not so much that you can't still get a screwdriver in the slot to tighten it up.
Use a file for that?
Yeah, you could use a file for it if you want to go slow. I haven't got all day. I got to get this ground down and put back in there. There we go. Pop that back out of there again. Whoops. Pop that back out of there again. I'll just shut the camera off until I'm done grinding on this. Okay. We got it ground down a little bit now. We'll put it back in there and we'll see if I ground enough off of there to let the pump go in all the way and lock into place. Get in there. Apparently it's not too hard to hit the bullseye on that because it was almost right there that time too. Okay. Make sure I got the screwdriver in the slot good and square because the slot's shorter than it was before. I don't want to skip out of it and end up ruining the slot on there. Let's see if I ground enough off of it to get that to go in all the way and turn now. Yep, perfect. It goes right in, turns a quarter turn, locks in place just like it's supposed to. So Put these two little screws back in here. Maybe. There we go. Oop. Surprised that didn't go on the floor and roll halfway across the shop and disappear. Now let's see if we can get that snugged up. And with the old check valve, it was really hard to pump even after we took it apart and cleaned it up. So I wonder if this one's going to work better. Open that up so that the little ears line up with the slot. Oh yeah, that works way better. The ladder's rattling, the table's rattling. It's a shame we can't put something underneath that one leg that's too short. Now I'll turn the tip cleaner on this one a couple times and we'll see if it'll light up. Alright, I'm gonna turn it this way so I can get the lighter in there. Well, I don't hear anything. I'll turn the tip cleaner again. I don't hear any fuel passing. I wonder if it's not pumping any pressure. I hear a little bit of pressure in there. It had some pressure, but not very much. It's got some fuel in it. Maybe we'll try putting a little bit of fuel in it. I couldn't hear any air passing, but I've got two other lanterns running and hissing, which makes it hard to hear if one of them is hissing or not. Oh, well, it ran over. That must be enough. Here I was thinking that I quit in time and didn't make a mess, but fuel cap's over here. Get the old brown towel out here and wipe up my mess. I'll try this again. Well, that pumped up pressure a lot quicker that time because it's got a lot more fuel in it. I'm going to turn it that way to get the lighter in here. I can hear it hissing now. Come on, it's trying to light. Turn the tip cleaner one more time. We'll open the valve up a little farther. I can definitely hear it's hissing. There, it's finally starting to come to life. Wonder if we need to take the generator out and clean it.
That looks like.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull the generator out of this real quick now that it's too hot to touch. Pull the generator out and clean it because it should have lit easier than that. Let's see here, get a 7/16 wrench. I don't believe we've ever even had the generator out of this one when we first got it. Once we got some pressure to pump in there, it lit right up. It was sure acting like it needs to have either the generator cleaned or the tube going down into the tank, one of the two. Yeah, it's not too hot down there. Didn't run it long enough to get too terribly hot. Trying to avoid busting the mantle out of here. Okay, I'll pause the camera. I'm going to go get some brake parts cleaner and pull this apart, clean it out real quick. Okay, I took the generator out of there. It seems like for some reason the tip cleaner rod doesn't want to come out of there. I know the camera. I sprayed it out good with carburetor cleaner, and then I checked. I've got a new one for a 200A, and they look exactly the same, and they both would run like the same size mantle and everything. So I'm guessing that if this still doesn't work, I could probably just switch it out with a 200A generator and it would work just fine. Now, just like on a 200A, it's a pain to get these generators back in there, and it's easier just to pull the one nut that holds the bottom of this frame on there, set that off to the side, and then put the generator back on while everything's right out in the open where you can easily get to it, and then set the burner frame back on there and put that one nut back on. I have learned on the 200As you're best to get that down to where it's still movable. Then set your burner frame back on there. Get the generator tip lined up, line everything back up where it belongs, and then get this nut back on, then tighten up the generator. You tighten it up so that you can't move the generator around. It makes it a little more difficult to get everything back together. So we'll try lighting it up again now. If it still doesn't seem like it wants to light or burn well, we'll try switching this out with the 200A generator. See what that does. I'm guessing I can't be the first one who's ever had the idea to see if one of those would work. Okay, I'm gonna just try to light this up with the glass off of there, see if it'll light. If it still doesn't seem like it wants to work, we'll try swapping out that generator. Yeah, it is not acting like it wants to do anything, and it will be easier to try to swap out that generator and try that first than to try to get the pickup tube going down into the bottom of the tank out to clean that. So I'm going to pause the camera and I'll pull this back apart, get that old generator out of there, and we'll try putting a new one in there. Alright, I pulled it back apart, and I'm going to see here, I don't know if the camera will be able, it's passing lots of fuel when I open that up, which is probably a good idea to do 8 inches from a lit lantern. That's totally fine. I mean, it obviously is, it didn't explode.
Yet.
But either way, it's passing fuel through the assembly and it goes down into the fountain just fine, but I'm not getting good fuel through the generator, and when you turn the tip cleaner it doesn't make any difference. So I'm guessing that old generator is just not working like it's supposed to. So I'm going to try this new generator that's for a 200A. Got to reuse the nut off of the old one. Try putting this on there and see what that does. And this is my last 200A generator in my kit, so I'm going to have to stock up again the next time I get up to the Amish store in Kelowna. Well, that fits right in there, which is good. Now that I've got this apart, I can turn the tip cleaner, and I can see the tip cleaner poking through the, you should be able to see the tip cleaner poking through the end here. Yep, I think it is. Alright, I'm gonna pause the camera, put the rest of this back together, and we'll try lighting it up again. Okay, we got the new generator that may or may not work in this type of lantern in there, and we'll see if it lights up before I put the globe and the top and all that back on there. That's more like it. Flaring up a little bit, but not too bad. Open up the valve. Up there, it's flaring up a little bit. We'll give it a few more pumps here, then I'll put the globe and the top back on it. Ooh, that's nice and bright. Top back on there and see if I can get the bail lined back up with the holes. There we go. Well, now we know that a 200A generator will work in a 423 lantern from 1936. There we go. We got both of the 243 lanterns, both from 1936, fired up and running. You can actually see a difference in this one's got a 500 candle power mantle that should be on a larger lantern. This one's got one that's the right size, and it's definitely burning brighter with the correct size mantle on it. So I'll let these run for a few minutes before I shut them off and let them cool down so I can take mine back home. And then I'll probably light mine up at home, let it run for a while, and I'll probably leave Dad's going and he'll let it run for a while here after I leave. Both burning pretty nice.